Hello and welcome to this edition of Yes 101's Visual Radio, bringing you the news. I'm Hashni Pathirana. And before we take a look at your news in detail, let's take a look at your headlines first.
News First headline.
Sri Lanka remembers those lost in the 2004 tsunami. Sri Lanka welcomes over 2 million tourists. Government establishes Foundation for Economic Stabilization, announces debt restructuring plans. The all-share price index records an all-time high once again. And in your international news, Assad loyalists kill 14 in clash with Syria's new ruling forces. And in your sports, it's basketball. James sets Christmas Day record in Lakers win. On to your top story this hour. Now today marks 20 years since one of the darkest days in the history of Sri Lanka. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. The word tsunami was unfamiliar to us Sri Lankans until the wave that changed us forever took away thousands of precious lives on that fateful day 20 years ago. On the 26th of December 2004, a massive earthquake triggered a series of devastating tsunamis across the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka experienced its worst natural disaster, with nearly 35,000 people losing their lives. The tsunami also caused the largest single rail disaster in world history by death toll in Paralia, where 1,270 people died. To this day, 141 people are still missing. Today, a National Safety Day event was held at the Defence Ministry's Disaster Management Division at 9 a.m. 2 minutes of silence was observed island-wide at 9:25 a.m. to remember those lost. Engine number 50, which was damaged in the tsunami, was brought to Paralia this morning. This was the same train that was hit by the waves on the 26th of December 2004. Relatives of the victims travelled from Colombo to pay their respects, and a floral tribute was placed at the Tsunami Memorial in Paralia. The MTV-MBC Media Network also held a special commemoration at Stein Studios in Ratnalana to honour those who lost their lives. Stay tuned to our primetime news bulletin at 9 p.m. tonight on TV1 for a comprehensive report on this. In more local news, the Ministry of Finance said that the essential foundation for stabilizing the country's economy has now been established. Further clarification regarding debt restructuring and the next steps for the economy was provided during a media briefing held at the President's Media Centre today. The briefing was attended by Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Professor Anil Jayantha Fernando, and Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma. Addressing the media briefing, Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Professor Anil Jayantha Fernando clarified that the debt restructuring process is being carried out under IMF guidelines, with the government responsible for its implementation. An agreement with international sovereign bondholders is expected to be signed by the 19th of January 2024, focusing on sustainable debt management and fair burden sharing. He added that the government is committed to overcoming the economic crisis, drawing from past experiences and ensuring public involvement in the process. In more local news, taking a look at the stock market today, the all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded an all-time high once again, closing at 15,400.53 points. The ASBI increased by 232.13 points, surpassing yesterday's record of 15,168.40 points. The S&P SL20 was recorded at 4,602.40 points. Now, according to the CSE, a turnover of 7 billion rupees was recorded at the close of trading today. Still in local news, the number of tourists who arrived in Sri Lanka or visited Sri Lanka this year surpassed 2 million as of today. Today, 53-year-old Prasani Nokanund, a journalist from Thailand, and his wife arrived in Sri Lanka, marking the milestone of the second marking the milestone of the 2 millionth tourist of the year. A special ceremony was held at Bandaranaike International Airport, Katunayanka, to welcome the couple. The couple, who arrived with a group of Buddhist devotees from Thailand, plans to explore Sri Lanka over the course of a week.
International news.
And now taking a look at our international news for this evening. Syria's new rebel-led authorities say supporters of ousted President Bashar al-Assad have killed 14 Interior Ministry troops in an ambush in the west of the country. They say 10 other troops were wounded in the fighting on Tuesday near the Mediterranean port of Tartus, a stronghold of Assad's minority sect. The clashes with pro-Assad loyalists are the first direct challenge to the authority of Syria's de facto leader, Ahmad al-Sharaa. Assad's presidency fell to rebel forces led by al-Shara's Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or the HTS faction, just over 2 weeks ago.
Sports news.
And finally, taking a look at the sports update, LeBron James claimed a history-making Christmas Day win as the Los Angeles Lakers pledged past the Golden State Warriors 115-113 in San Francisco. The success, clinched by Austin Reeves' layup with 1 second to go, saw the 39-year-old become the NBA's all-time leader in 25th December victories with his 11th in 19 appearances. The Lakers secured the win despite losing big man Anthony Davis with a twisted left ankle 8 minutes into the game. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Yes 101's Visual Radio. I'm Hashni Patirana. Thank you for watching and good night.